Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, and it's another episode of Raise Your Frequency. Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Please put any comments or questions in the chat box. And today, what I'm going to talk about, I didn't put it in the description. Today, what I'm going to talk about is how important your physical health is. It's really foundational. So the way that energy works is that it works from the outside in. And so what you may be experiencing in your physical body, whether it's pain or a physical condition that needs tending to, or some sort of other problem, whether it's a skin problem or a digestive problem or an allergy, it works its way in from the outside. And what I mean by that is that it first starts in the spiritual realm, meaning you may have brought this forward from another lifetime. It may be something that you inherited from a parent or another relative that your parent carried the gene from, or it may be something that your own soul has been trying to resolve for a long time. So that's where it could start. Next is the emotional level, the emotional layer. You know, our body fields are composed of many layers. And there is also an emotional layer, and that has to do with your emotional reaction to things. So any two people could experience the exact same thing and have completely opposite emotional reactions to it. Somebody could go, I don't care, that guy's stupid, whatever, and the other one will get like really furious. So these are part of our own tasks, our own journeys, and that's the direction. Wherever you have those emotional reactions, that's the direction to go. Then the next layer is something that's mental, and mental is something, aside from brain health, it is something that you believe because of your tribe or your religion or your country, something that's going on that's around you that you have bought into the belief, but it is not something that's true or is in alignment with your own inner belief systems. And then the last place is somewhere in the physical. So usually what we consider physical is something that is like food or water or rest or exercise. And those are all really important. It's easier said than done to change a diet or to change a habit, or to even remember to do something, even if it only takes a few seconds, just like sitting up straight, put your shoulders back, take a nice slow breath. I can see my head is cut off a little bit. Take a nice slow breath in and relax. And as we take that breath in, smile. So your body can have this two-way conversation. And this is an example of having something happen in the physical and it changed the state inside your body. So a lot of us happen to be at war with our body. We are we start doing the wrong things. We stay up too late, drink too much alcohol, use recreational drugs. This is actually at war with our body. And being comfortable and being happy and being relaxed in our body is actually something that's it's easier said than done. It's really hard to achieve. So the physical body is the vessel and the vehicle that your spirit and soul are enveloped in. So it is carrying us around. And we are divine beings. The soul and spirit, that's all divine. That's who we really are inside. And taking good care of it's really important. Now, so I talked about all of those spiritual and emotional things and mental things, but what about your environment. I talked a little bit about environment in another show, but your environment's really important, including the people in it. So the people in it, when they're happy, they radiate out this energy, this high frequency energy that you will and can receive. And if somebody is upset or frustrated, they will, by the same token, radiate out a much lower and much lower frequency emotion that you can also feel and receive. And those have effects on the body. As I've said in times before, your frequency, that means the frequency that you radiate off. Those are photons. We absorb and radiate photons all the time. People have been put in really dark boxes, and photosensors are put in the box, and there is no external light. There's only the human being that's sitting in the box, and they can actually measure photons of light, real light coming off of the body. And the higher the frequency of these photons, the better in health, and the better the happier, healthier, and more content that person is. So that's the real state we want to get the physical body in. So it is carrying our spirit through life in a really healthy, happy way. So by taking good care of your environment, including the people in it, making sure that you have less chaos around you, because chaos can lower your frequency. It's a law of thermodynamics, right? So chaos in thermodynamics is a high entropic state, and it takes a lot of energy to lower that frequency or to lower that chaos. So it took a lot of energy to straighten and organize all of the books behind me. And this is only a small fraction of what I used to own. I used to have about 3 to 4 times the number of books you see back here. And I used to have 10 file drawers full of papers that were all papers I needed for my work. Fortunately, now everything is electronic, and I have it very neatly organized in my computer. So that all that information is there, but now it's organized, and it only takes a few megabytes of space on my computer, whereas it used to fill up an entire room. When I left the University of Washington, I filled up like 10 trash cans full of, in the recycle bin of papers, and I gave away or sold and gave away lots and lots of my books. I donated them to the library or to charity and so on. So it has created in the smaller house a much neater space. And in that, it's really important for chaos around you. I've written about it in my blog about how chaos can make you feel really sad and upset because of the way energy flows around it, because our environment is yes, Sally, exactly. I'm glad you did that. So chaos is not our friend in our home. And it's really difficult when both of us, my husband and I, are working full time to really keep the chaos under control. But we have to take some time out, a little time out every morning. My husband does things, and I will do something on the weekend to help tame the chaos. Because if you let it go, like our backyard will be completely overgrown by what I call a monster weed, the morning glory. I mean, it's really pretty when it blooms, but it can take over your yard and your house if you let it. It kind of feels like our house was like Sleeping Beauty, the stuff overgrown everywhere. And it made us feel really awful. And then when each of us took steps to tame the chaos in the house, the energy flowed in the house a lot better. And what's interesting about that is that the income flows in even a lot better. So having that chaos, this physical health, having that chaos tamed and kept to a manageable level is really, really important. Like cleaning out your drawers and washing them out and getting rid of all the little stuff that's sitting in the corners. That's stagnant energy. And that energy affects you physically. So we're talking about diet and exercise. That's actually kind of low on the list. And a lot of people, if you go out, how do you get healthy? You go out to the health book section and it's 98% diet. And nobody tends to all of the other things that are so important for your health. And actually diet is like 8th on the list of importance. In my blog post that I call The Ultimate Guide to Health, Wealth, and Relationships, and there'll be a link coming up in the chat box right there. In that, I list the 8 factors that are in order of importance, and physical health is the last, the way you tend to your physical health. And the other thing is that a lot of us, that I mentioned this a little earlier, a lot of us are very, we have a love-hate relationship with the body. Like, you can't get your weight down to where you like. This is like the number one problem. We have a weight epidemic in the United States, and a lot of it can be traced down to the quality of the food and also the amount and the fast food. Like, people are too busy to eat well. And I can tell you right now that it takes me 5 minutes in the morning to prepare and have my breakfast. And that takes a lot less time than running down to McDonald's and ordering an Egg McMuffin, right? So it's to actually plan and take care. And I got a lesson this weekend. I went to a really fantastically organized and fantastic information event. It was called Gifted by Beth Davis. And she said that not everybody operates the same way. So my physical, mental, emotional type, it needs to plan out. And a lot of people, they need to plan out. But there are some people that just like are impulsive. Okay, I'll eat that now. So to those people, what I would say is the number one rule is, if it's in the house, it will be eaten. Don't bring in chocolate, ice cream, junk food. Go out and get Happy Meals or whatever. Is to have the healthy food in reach and available to you, so you can apply yourself with all those healthy meals, rather than I need something to eat and run down to the corner Burger King or the corner Del Taco. I mean, we've got them all on the corners within less than a mile from us. So it's really easy, and almost everybody does, right? And so it's taking care, and as soon as you start doing it, and I notice this for myself, as soon as you start taking better care of yourself, it's like your whole body gets happy and relaxed. Like, oh, you love me and you want me to be around for a long time. And what I used to do, and why I got so sick 25 years ago, what I used to do was take care of everybody else first. My kids had their meals. My husband, I would cook a meal, and so he would stop complaining. Like, he was a grown-up, an adult, and if he wanted something to eat, he could have fixed it himself, right? But he would sit there and yell at me to get it ready. So you can imagine what life was like with an angry person. So I would do all that stuff to please everybody else, and I was last on the list. And when I started putting my foot down and taking care of myself, I got a lot of backlash from it, but I felt happier and better. Like, I got a lot more relaxed in my body. So that's one thing that a lot of us, especially women with partners or husbands, that feel that they have to tend to everybody else first, And of course, I'm sure you've heard this before, is put your own oxygen mask on first before you tend to everybody else. And as soon as I started doing that, and I started doing what was right for my body and for me, then I got healthier and I was more available for everybody else. Because when you're sick and you don't feel good and you're depressed and you're tired, you're not available to anybody, not even to yourself. So that's the word for today. So aside from your diet and your exercise and your sleep and your water, you all know all that already. And I know that it is more difficult in practice, but getting into the practice of getting up and cutting your cords every morning, that is not that easy. And sometimes I forget, but I remember when I'm out walking, oh yes, I didn't do that. Okay, now I feel better. I wondered why I was feeling kind of heavy and dragged down. So cutting cords, just cut the cord and imagine them all going down. And then pull your shoulders back and stand up straight and breathe deeply all the way down into your belly button, and imagine that energy going all the way down into your toes and into your fingers, and that helps you get more centered. So it pulls you away from everything else that's yanking at you in all directions. And I stop, for example, when I do it, I stop thinking about the umpteen things that I have to do before the end of the day. And then I sit down after eating and exercising. I sit down and I just started ticking them off one by one. And I did 2 of the things that were weighing on me already this morning in less than an hour. So that's the way you can do it, is that it helps you come into focus. And while I'm taking good care of my physical body, and I'm not 100%, but all of us are on a journey, right? We're all on a journey, and each step that you take in the right direction, is it helping or hurting? Each step you take in the helping direction takes you one step closer to where you're going, wherever that may be. Okay, that's all for today. Love you all, and let me see. Oh, I love that comment. I've had more energy to complete all sorts of overdue tasks. Woohoo, my to-do list is disappearing. Exactly. And when you get to that, that feeling, when you get to that feeling of, wow, I've gotten all that stuff done, it really boosts your energy so much, because it's like that thing that was weighing you down just pops off your head, and now you can stand taller and breathe more deeply, right? So I've got the 8 steps that I've covered in all of these Raise Your Frequency. It's all in my book, and my book has been available on Amazon for the last couple of years. And at this event, I sold, I don't know, maybe a dozen of my books, and the people that started reading them said that they were hard to put down. So I kept telling them, wait until you have a couple of hours before you start reading them. And I love having that kind of feedback, because I really poured my heart and soul, and I wrote it and revised it and revised it and revised it. And I love that people love the book. And when you go on my Instagram page, which has the same name as this, my Facebook page, Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, /. When you go on my Instagram page, all of the memes that are on there, all the pictures with my quotes, all come out of that book. And I was surprised that there were so many good quotes in the book. So, and they were created by other people. I hired a social media group to help me with it, because I'm not very sociable on social media. So, it's a struggle. So that's another tip, to have how to take care of yourself. Do what you're good at, and delegate it the rest to other people. That way, you stay in your genius and you get the support you need. That's another good way to take care of your physical body, to not run yourself ragged, right? So thank you for all the love, and thank you for being here. And you have a great week until next time.